know you're Zex because you came to the panel and you blogged about it, and you were too much of a pussy to ask a single question. You are a pussy. Outhouse! I have all this stuff to say about Dan Slott. I'll come to the Spider-Man panel. Now I'll blog about it. Hey, sit down. I'm gonna hide behind somebody.
I'm not hiding, I was reporting on it.
I was reporting. One thing reporters shouldn't do is ask questions.
Because I'm waiting for the 50 million.
I'm waiting for the interview.
Hug it out, hug it out. You don't track about your heroes, man, so they'll say, you got hugged by Dan Slott.
Dude, you keep this up, you're gonna get French. Ah! Okay.
All right.
Sweaty.
Yes, because I'm in all the panels today.
It is warm in here, I have to say.
It is on.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Outhouse!
All right. Since you're doing Earth right now, I have to ask a question. How did you come up with the concept of Doc Ock dying and also his master plan? Like, how did you come up with all that? Like,
What, because you mean he's had a story where it's called Master Planner and there's been a story where he's died? Is that what you're asking?
Well,
For
no.
your snarky internet Outhouse fans?
no, I'm asking because I want to know how you come up with the concept, like a Grant Oyo's plan. Because last time he did something like this grand, like in the 90s, Revenge of the Serious Sick by Eric Larson. After that, he's not really had a world domination plan until you did.
Well, the main reason he has a world domination plan is because he's dying. He's got one last shot. And if you're Doc Ock, you have plans like, I will take over the crime families. I will take over Aunt May's nuclear power station. Aunt May had a nuclear power station that he has all these really weird plans, but if you only have one shot, if you knew it was your final days, what are you going to do? You're going to do the world. You're going to go for the world. Where he came from, the dying came from, we were having one Spider-Man retreat, and normally we don't have artists at the retreat, but for this one we had Phil Jimenez, and Phil was throwing out ideas, and while we were all talking, because we were talking about the Gauntlet stories, and how would we re-envision the villains. One of the problems we had when we inherited Brand New Day, when we became the team that moved on, we were told what was happening in One More Day, and where the pieces would be left. One of the things we sat down and talked about as a team was that too many of the Spider-Man villains were getting jobbed. They were getting jobbed left and right. We hit like a 4-week period where Rhino got beat down 3 times in a row to make other heroes look good. You had a point, yeah, where the Daughters of the Dragon took out the Rhino with a sports car. To make Colleen Wing look good, you just totally punked the Rhino. So one of the things we decided was we would take the characters off the plate for everyone, for the whole Marvel universe, even the Spider-Man team. We wouldn't get to play with the original idea was no Spider-Man villains for a year, and then we'd only do all new characters and try new things. But then that started, we got way too antsy. We're like, we want to play with the cool toys, so we shortened it to 6 months. So we were having one of our meetings and we were talking about how to re-envision the characters or how to pump them up or give them new looks or new feels or new agendas. And while we were talking about this, Phil just started doodling Doc Ock. And he's doing all these Doc Ock doodles. And one of his Doc Ock doodles, he had all these little robot octopods like crawling over him and grooming him. And he had like a Darth Vader mask. And I'm like, and I looked at that and went, well, that looks like, what if he's like in an iron lung? And it just started popping all these ideas.
That's a good idea for his head.
Yeah, so that's how, and all that kind of grew, a lot of that out of Phil Jimenez's sketch of going, oh, well, how would Doc get to there? And we were just throwing everything out, like, you know, just throwing out ideas left and right. What if the Vulture did this, or what if Shocker could do that? And some things didn't stick, and some things did. And the more I played with that, the more I liked that, I went, that's kind of fun. And that's how that all kind of happened.
Okay, now for one other question is, you've done Amazing Spider-Man 600.
Yes!
You're gonna do Amazing Spider-Man 700.
700!
How in the heck?
I have no idea. No idea. No, well actually the way...
How does it feel like that?
It feels awesome! So, but the way it all happens is through the providence of having Steve Wacker as editor. And no one else but Steve could have put out Spider-Man 3 times a month for over a year. He did over 100 issues 3 times a month. And with Big Time, we're doing it twice a month. So that's how we got from 600 to 700. In less than this coming week, when Amazing Spider-Man 684 comes out, I've done the math. When that issue comes out, Steve Wacker will have done over, in less than 5 years, he will have done over 1/5 of all issues of Amazing Spider-Man.
How many issues have you done?
But that's not counting .1s or free comic book days or annuals. Just honest to God, Amazing Spider-Man issues. Steve Wacker will have edited 1 out of every 5. That's me. I've written something like, now because of this extended, crazy schedule, I've written something like 1 out of every 13.
Yeah, but you've been like up there. Wacker's been editing, but you've been writing consistently also like that too.
But when I was working on it with Steve with Brand New Day, you had
those artists.
Zeb Wells and Fred Van Lente and Mark Waid, Joe Kelly, Bob Gale, Mark Guggenheim. Yeah, you had all these guys working in tandem in a big team, and we were all talking about it all the time. In fact, at one point, we always knew that the plan was we were going to do like 100 issues, over 100 issues, and then we were going to go down to 2 times a month with a side book, which became Avenging Spider-Man. And one time I had lunch with Steve Wacker, and I said to Steve, because it was hard, because you would have to read everybody's scripts. You were doing so much more work than if you were working on a normal book. You were reading like 4 or 5 extra scripts a month and trying to dovetail and make sure that all your stories work together. And you'd have constant conference calls and email chains and flying everyone in for summits, and way more collaboration than on any book I've ever seen at Marvel. So we were like this gestalt hive mind, and that took a lot of effort. And I was like the one guy who was on both teams, on the Brain Trust and the Web Heads. So I've been doing that for a long stretch. And since I knew what the plan was, I kind of went, Steve, I'm getting kind of tired. I'd like to move over and be the guy on the satellite and do my own little thing over there once a month. And that was the thing I pitched to Steve, and Steve said no. I'm like, oh man. And I was thinking, oh great, Zeb's gonna be on this, Joe will be on that, I'm out. He's like, no, I want you on the main book. I was like, what? Me on the main book? Yeah, I want you on the main book, and you'll do it 2 times a month. But you have to drop Mighty Avengers. That's the price you have to pay, because I know you can only do 2 books a month. So you got this moment where I told him I would think about it. He leaves after the lunch, and I'm walking, I call up my dad on my cell phone, I'm like, Dad, I got this offer. Steve says I can write Amazing Spider-Man by myself twice a month, but I got to give up Mighty Avengers. I don't know what to do. And my dad goes, what are you talking about? Drop Mighty Avengers. Okay, and I immediately called Steve. I didn't think he got it back to Marvel then. And he's like, I'll do it.